All right, to welcome you to this sixth season of EMU Today TV. My name is Mark S. Lee, and I am your host for this 30-minute conversation. We get updated with what's going on around EMU. Jump right into the conversation with Crystal Walworth, and she's the Assistant Director for the University Advising and Career Development Center here at EMU. And Crystal, thank you very much for joining me for this very important conversation. Nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Give us the primary mission for the area that you represent, basically career development. Talk about its primary mission and its role within the university.
Okay. So we have a few different areas in the department. We have career coaching, corporate relations managers, and student employment in the office. We serve students from the time they come in as freshmen all the way through graduation. And once you graduate, you can come back as long as you want to as an alum. And so service for life once you graduate. We really want students to basically come in and get what they need out of the department. And we know not all students come to Eastern with the intention of graduating. Some students come here with the intention of transferring somewhere else. Some students come in as transfer students and they bring a lot of credit hours with them. We really want to help them figure out what the goal is here at EMU and make sure that they get what they want out of their experience here. So if they're coming in as freshmen, a lot of times they're looking for student employment. And so we're kind of the human resource department for student employment. So we post all of the jobs on campus for student employment, get them on the payroll for that. But then career coaches see them when they are maybe unsure about what major they want, or if they thought they had a major and that didn't turn out exactly like they thought it was going to be and they're going to switch. We work with them to make sure that they find what maybe the next major is, and it's the maybe a better fit for them based on what they're interested in, what motivates them, what their motivation is in life, and really work with them. Sometimes it takes several appointments to figure that out. Yeah. And we help them find internships, experiences. Sometimes that's going out and doing experiential interviews with someone, and then moving into our corporate relations category. That is when our staff members go out and meet with actual employers and encourage those employers to come here and recruit our students. And we have several job fairs every year that employers come here on campus to recruit our students. And they're looking for interns, full-time employees. Of course, right now the job market's exceptionally hot, so they're just finding, scratching at different ways to come in and meet our students. They're all
so let's talk about that. We got to unpack that a little bit. We know we were just chatting before we started this interview. Obviously, I teach the College of Business, and I have predominantly juniors and seniors, and a lot of them are concerned about finding jobs and internships and opportunities. Talk about, you referenced the market is hot right now, but talk about your role, the center's role in helping them to find those types of opportunities in terms of whether it's an internship or a full-time opportunity on graduation.
So we will work with them to make sure that they're really ready to go out and find those opportunities. I mean, we all know there are job boards where people can look and find different opportunities, but it's often not easy to be the candidate that fits that opportunity. And so we work with them to make sure that their resumes and their cover letters are going to be a match for those opportunities. And we have some software. We have a program called Peninsula that will do keyword matching. That's really exceptionally important for students to make sure that they're aware of what that is, because most resumes are not really looked at by the human eye first anymore. Mm. So they're kind of optic scanned for what the employer is looking for initially. And if you aren't aware of what those are looking for, you can get, scanned out really quickly and not make it to the top of that pile, so that the human eye is looking at you and getting you that first initial look by a hiring recruiter. So we can help you get that polished and ready for the application process. We really encourage students to come in and meet with us to understand what that looks like, because it's probably not the same as what the students may be hearing from someone in an older generation back home. And the job market really has changed in that aspect. So our role is to help educate students on what that looks like now. and make sure that they're prepared for that process, because it's not exactly what it used to be, and it doesn't have to be difficult. They just need to be educated about what that is. And then
so we talk about the resumes, for example, though. So there's no longer the old fashioned, you type the resume, everything's being done electronically. So for those tuning in, so you need to understand there's certain keywords that people use and things like that. So these are primarily electronic resumes that are now upon submission.
correct. So when you have a resume and you're asked to upload it, it's most likely going to be scanned by the employer. It's going to be scanned by whatever software that they use to look through those first. And so you need to be able to get through that first look by, whatever program they're using to look through those. And we can help students understand that.
That's good. And so what I want you to be able to do too is I know that you do coaching and career advising. We'll get briefly to the career closet as well, briefly. But give tips to students. I think students still grapple with the job market and how to find a job. So if you can just give them very high level, 3 to 5 tips on what they should be doing as they're searching for an internship or a full-time opportunity, what would you tell them?
Okay, so definitely come in and meet with someone here, because I think they come in or they don't come in and they find it intimidating because they're not quite sure what they're going to get out of coming in. So we do have staff that specialize in the areas that they major in. So you will meet with someone who knows the majors that the students are interested in. And so that would be the first step. And then the person that they meet with can give them some more specialized information, some more specialized tips. Like they might tell them, go out and do an informational interview. So you would go out and meet with someone in your field and not necessarily be asking for a job, but be asking, what is someone in your field doing in a typical day? And give me some of the buzzwords that you use in your field, so that when I'm writing a resume or if I get an actual interview, what are the things I'll be asked, so I know that, if I'm asked a question about this, I can speak intelligently about it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you're doing a search, that you can go on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great resource. So you need to have your LinkedIn profile updated and you should be using it regularly. But you can also search for people who have graduated from Eastern. And it's always a good idea to put your feelers out and say, okay, I see that you applied to a job at your company. I'm attending Eastern. I see that you graduated from there and you currently work there. Are there any tips that you could give me? So usually someone who's graduated from your school is really willing to give back a little bit. I mean, you're not asking them to interview them yourself. You're not asking them for a job. You're just asking for a couple of tips. So that's always a good idea to, introduce yourself and say, would you be willing to just help me out a little bit? And so usually alumni are willing to do something like that. So making connections.
It's another form of networking, it's another form of building those connections. Because there's been statistics which would suggest that 60 to 70% of jobs are filled through the network. And right. I don't know if you've heard similar types of numbers. Let's assume that that's relatively right or spot on, but directionally speaking, it is. So the power of the network, and I hear you saying that networking through LinkedIn and certainly going into the office and meet with the counselors and really identify and build those relationships can be a benefit to the student.
Correct. Yeah. Networking is wonderful because you don't know, you meet someone, they may not have anything for you, but they know you and they might think, this young man or this young lady came in and met with me and, made a great impression on me, and they have you in the back of their mind for someone they meet down the road, and, they have connections elsewhere. So, or a job opens in the future. You don't know what, connections that forms for later.
Got it. And so let's segue few minutes remaining. I'm going to segue and talk about this career closet, helping students dress for success. What is this career closet and helping students dress for success?
So we opened this a week ago. We had our grand opening last Tuesday, and students started shopping on Wednesday, and we've already had, I think, 25 or 30 students come in and actually shop the closet and take items. So I think it's actually pretty successful for being, our 4th day really open. We decided to open it because we have a lot of students who really just professional clothing is expensive. And so we want to make sure that students have access to that, and that's not a barrier for them to go out and find the internships and professional jobs once they're ready to graduate. And we already partner with JCPenney, and right now, our JCPenney Suit Up event going on. And so students can contact us and get a code to shop at JCPenney to get new clothing and get an extra 30% off their shopping for clothing at JCPenney if they want to do that. But that's clothing, you have to purchase. But in order to get free clothing, we have the closet here in our office, which is 200 Mechanic Hall. And they can stop by any Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 and shop the closet. It's donated clothing. Some of it's brand new.
Okay.
And, they can take up 4 items a semester, and they can come every semester if they want to. So if you start early on in your college career, you can have a pretty good professional work by the time you graduate. And we really want them to feel comfortable shopping. And we have a dressing room so you can try the things on. We have some student employees who've worked retail before, so they can help you choose and shop and make sure that you are picking things that will look good on you. But we have a lot of job fairs, like I said earlier, and we see students who come in sometimes not quite dressed for a job fair, which you should come to a job fair dressed like you're going to an interview. So we see them not quite coming in sometimes dressed for an interview. Some students, I think, come in dressed like maybe they're going out for an evening instead of for a job fair, or sometimes they come in and they just aren't dressed professionally at all. So we make sure that they know that this is available, and if they just don't have the clothing at home, they can come in and get some. Or if they just aren't aware of what they should wear, they can come in, we can talk them through that and show them what they can wear. So we actually had, I don't know if you're aware of what UNIV course is on campus. It's like,
we have about 30 seconds, so go ahead.
Okay, but we had students come in and do a class and do best dressed, worst dressed. So they got to choose and do a little project and tour the closet and see if they could come up with a good outfit and a bad outfit. And they did great, and they really enjoyed it.
That's outstanding. So basically, students can go into McKinney and shop clothes and helping them to literally dress for success for interviews and things like that. That's outstanding. So my last question, is there a website that people can go to very briefly to get more information about this, about the your area at large?
Yep, it's emich.edu/UACDC.
Outstanding. Last question, very quickly, are those clothes free?
Free, totally free.
Totally free.
Yep.
Well, Crystal, I want to thank you very much for providing us with an update on what's happening in the area. Students, if you're tuning in, I would encourage you to go check it out, make an appointment, go talk to the coaches over there, because I know that you're all interested and curious about finding jobs. What we're going to do is to segue and show you a video from a recent halftime show for an EMU football game that features the band. And on the other side, we're going to be talking to the band director. Enjoy the video, and we'll be right back.
Say, Lord, you are good, yeah. You are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Come on, it's all right if you clap your hands with us. Come on. Say, Lord, you are good. You are good, and hey. People from every nation, from generation, we worship you. Yes, you are, yes, you are, yes, you are. So good, so good. Come on, say you are good. All the time, all the time. You are good, you are good. All the time, and all the time. You are good, you are we worship you for who you are, for who you are. You're faithful, you're loyal. You are good. Come on, clap your hands if you know that it's good. Hallelujah.
And welcome back to EMU Today TV. We hope you enjoy that performance from back in September. The gospel performance, that was a great song, and the EMU band participating. It's an exciting show, I got to tell you, back in September. So we hope you enjoy that. And speaking of the band, we have Dr. J. Nick Smith. He's the Associate Director of Bands and Director of Athletic Bands as well here at the university. Nick, thanks for joining me on EMU Today TV. How are you?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and of course representing the whole band program here. But yeah, doing wonderful.
That was a wonderful performance. Talk about that. I mean, energetic, fun, lively, engaging. Talk to us about that particular performance we just saw.
Sure. Well, I would say that one of the roles that I have as director, but also our students, part of our mission have, is to present to the audience a wide variety of music. Our job is to entertain, but we also want to make sure that our audiences feel connected to what we're doing. So about a year ago from past September, I started thinking about show ideas, and one that I knew that I wanted to do and present, if we could, is a gospel-themed show. We're really uniquely positioned at Eastern and the communities of Ypsilanti and Detroit, both of which have large communities where this type of music, this gospel music, is on parade, and it's something that's really attached to our culture. And Eastern being right in the center, it's also attached to Eastern. And so I thought if we could do something like this, it would be more unique for our students and their experience, but also to our community. And that was important to me. So as we typically do in the winter semester, if you didn't know, marching band is a 365-day thing. It doesn't just happen in the fall. We plan for everything in the fall and the winter, but we had a student halftime show committee assembled, and we got together, and I presented this to them and said, hey, what do you think about this? There was a great review. Several students worked on it with me in terms of getting music. And I just have to say, month after month after month, each detail just came into perspective, and man, was it incredible. And I was so glad to be able to professionally record this with one of the best in our city, so that our community that couldn't be there and everybody else could just relive this experience over and over again. It was truly fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic experience. I love the fact that you got students engaged in the process, empowering them to talk about it and come up with ideas. That's another form of education, even as we think about the bands as well. And as we talk about the band, talk about the history briefly. How old is Eastern's band and how big is it today?
So this is the 128th season of the Marching Band. And I feel like I was just talking about next year, and I might be thinking in my brain that next year is 128. I need to double check that. Because again, like I said, we're always thinking about it a year ahead. All that to say, the EMU Marching Band has been around for a very long time, and it's kind of a centerpiece of the university, and we have a wide variety of stakeholders. You just mentioned about student leadership. I think in all band, I think students lead in different ways, but in our marching band, we have an emphasis on student leadership and empowering them to be part of their education. And that's something that is just really vital. We found that in the whole band program, when students are an active part of a community, and they feel that they're an active participant in that experience, the overall product is so much better, and their overall experience is amplified. And so that is absolutely really important, and I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Absolutely. And as we think about members of the band, do they have to have prior experience, or is it open to everyone with or without band experience? Talk about that. How has that process worked?
Sure. Well, first of all, I can say similar to kind of our university's mission, all are welcome to be part of our organization. I think I've not encountered a situation yet where a student has approached me that wanted to be involved that I did not feel that they had the qualifications to begin. Of course, it's helpful for a student prior to arriving in college to have experience in the drum line or experience on an instrument or experience in the guard or experience with twirling, but it's certainly not a barrier for them to be able to participate. And that's one of the other great things is that they do have the capability, if they work hard and they're not as experienced, to learn and still be a part of our organization, which I think is great.
Yeah, I think that's outstanding. How many members, by the way, are in the band?
Great question. I think it's always important to qualify this. In 2020, when COVID happened, the band was around 100, and I think that's pretty understandable for a college student to not necessarily want to sign up for something and it not be its full fruition. With the football season canceled and marching band, largely across the United States not being safe, and that's what we knew at that time in terms of spreading. I think that prevented students from enrolling. The following year, we went up 25%, and this year we've gone up another 5 or 6 students from that. We're on our way, so we're about 130 right now. We're on our way to get back into that 150, 160 range that the marching band for a while has been used to. Again, I think we just saw the effects of COVID, similar to the entire university, but experiences like this, I think, are starting to bring students back and getting excited about the experience. Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. I mean, bands are integral parts, like you mentioned, referenced earlier, of the educational system, of a university structure. And recently, Eastern Michigan just held very recently its homecoming. By the way, congratulations to the football team for beating UMass. I think it was 20.
That's right. Great game. Great game.
That was held recently. And so, to see people hang around for the halftime show, and the band during the homecoming game was phenomenal. Great music, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Talk about how that energy can help to energize a team, energize a fan base, a university. They talk about that energy level.
Yeah, well, I'll certainly say we've got a ton of energy. I think it comes natural with the fanfare of the game day experience. And actually, there was a study done recently at another university I was a part of where they surveyed the crowd and they said, what makes a game day experience unique? And the number one answer was the band. And if you think about that, if you take the band out of that fanfare, yeah, there's absolutely an exciting game that's happening, especially with Coach Creighton, who, by the way, is a fantastic individual in person and doing great things for the team. But that band elevates kind of the atmosphere. And I think the students, of course, college students, and who are already loving what they are doing are adding to that with music, et cetera. I will say, because you mentioned with homecoming and you mentioned the history, we'd be remiss to not acknowledge the alumni that have built this program and allowed it to continue for as many years successfully as it has. And it's always a pleasure to bring them back on homecoming day and have them participate with us right back on the field. You can ask any band member that was involved in band in their college experience, what's one of the top 3 memories that you remember? And they're always going to say band. And that energy, it still is alive for them today. We were joking with the alumni Saturday about, all right, let's remember where those muscles were as you relive your glory days. And they come back at all ages to come back and to be a part of that energy. And I think that just kind of speaks for itself. I have the best job on campus for sure. And reasons like that make it really unique.
And I'm not an alum of the band. I'm an alum of the university. And as I was sitting listening to the band homecoming weekend, it brought back memories. I mean, the fight song and the loyalty song that they call, I apologize. But I feel like dust off the cobwebs in my brain. But to hear the music, it was nostalgic for someone like me who came out of Eastern several years ago. And just to be back in the stadium and seeing, to your point, other alums around, people you haven't seen in so long, the total engagement, the total experience was wonderful to see. And I think the band plays a major part of that, because when you walk in, you see the band standing there and they come out of the tunnel. That is so exciting. So tell me, what have you brought that's unique to this year's experience overall relative to maybe in past years? What are you looking to do with the band moving forward?
That's such a hard question for me, because one of the goals I've had as a more recent director is to do my absolute best to shine a spotlight on our students, and then step out of it. And so when you ask a question like that, it's a great opportunity for me to say, hey, here are all the initiatives that I have. But ultimately, how I could potentially answer this is to say that I'm doing everything possible I can to increase a student's experience in our organization, so that when they graduate from EMU, they're absolutely going to remember this and remember specifics, and then come back and give back. Some of the initiatives that I think alums are commenting on are the us being able to purchase new instruments for students. And so in the past 2.5 years, we've secured brand new trumpets, brand new trombones, brand new alto saxophones. And that's because of donors that believe in the mission of the student experience and the marching band, and what it offers to the university. To your point, your nostalgia that the marching band gets to create for you, that there are certain tunes that bring back memories. That's our honor to be able to share. So we want to make sure that students don't have barriers like not having an instrument in order to make the decision on whether to participate with us as well. We also have halftime sponsors, and we've been able to create great experiences for people through that sponsorship to partner with us in that way. And maybe I might also say shows like this. Like I'm not okay just someone saying, no, I don't think that's going to work. I'm the type of person that I want to find a way to create something that maybe has not happened before. And in doing that, not again to shine a light on me, but to showcase what in fact our students can do. And I'll just use this show as an example. I think with the production level of this show and the amount of people that are involved, we might expect a halftime show like that from maybe a school down the street or an hour away. But why can't we do something like that at EMU, a regional university? Well, my answer is we absolutely can, and we should. That might be how I kind of address that question.
No problem. We have about 30 seconds remaining or so. And I want to give you an opportunity to talk about briefly, where can people get more information and what you might be looking for, website, and briefly, what else can they contribute?
Absolutely. Those that are interested in learning about EMU Marching Band, how they can support us, how they can see us, to watch performances, emumb.org, EMU Marching Band, just the first letters.org. You can also visit our entire band website to see what's happening within our larger College of Arts and Sciences, and the School of Music and Dance, and that's emish.edu/music/bands.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your energy, your enthusiasm, and I also appreciate the fact that you're spotlighting the students and demonstrating what hard work and perseverance can do. Congratulations on the job well done. Keep it up.
Thanks so much. Go Green.
All right, go Green. And that will be it for this edition of EMU Today TV. We will check you out next month on a new show of EMU Today TV. Go out, make it a great day, make it a great week, and we will see you soon. Have a great day. Talk to you soon, everyone.